Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, playing some GRUUL Energy in Historic Best of 3. Gonna do a bit of a deck tech in this video. If you don't care about that and you only want to see some gameplay, click on the annotation up in the top right hand corner or on the link in the description down below. Now, it has been a while since I played Energy in Historic. The last video I made was back in July. Well, the deck was pretty fun then and it performed well. It's still a blast to play, and it has also received a bit of an upgrade. I'm going to go over all the cards in the deck to give you a bit of an idea of how it plays. Now, of course, I should start with the new card, I guess, Longtusk Stalker. It is a 1 CMC 1/1 that says when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get 1 energy. This new energy ability is pretty awesome. When we compare it to something like the Longtusk Cub, its energy ability says when it deals damage to a player, you get 2 energy. The problem with this is that it kind of gets stranded from time to time. It hits the field, doesn't generate anything, and then you can't really attack in cleanly. It just stays there as a 2/2. At least with the Stalker, it's coming down on turn 1. It's immediately giving you some energy, and then usually on turn 2, you're able to attack in to make it a 2/1. Then it has the ability that makes it a 2/1. Pay 2 energy. Longtusk Stalker perpetually gets +1/+0. You may choose a creature card in your hand. If you do, that card also perpetually gets +1/+0. This is sweet because it can easily become a 2/1 or a 3/1 over the course of the first few turns of the game. And then it's also going to be pumping our other threats in the deck, and all of these love having more power on them. Overall, I've been really impressed with the Longtusk Stalker. It's met all my expectations. It's exceeded them, in fact, and I think it's going to be a staple in this form of energy deck going forward. The other creatures in the deck, I've already mentioned the Cub. It gets energy when it hits the player, and then it has an awesome ability, pay 2 energy, put a +1/+1 counter on the Cub. It's a permanent buff, which is really important, unlike the Voltaic Brawler, which I'll talk about in a second. And if you have some excess energy, you can dump it into the Cub to make it massive. Again, the problem is it does get stranded very easily, so it's not my favorite energy creature in the deck. Next is the Voltaic Brawler. I think this is the best 2 CMC creature in the deck. It is a 3/2 that when it enters the battlefield, it gives you 2 energy. So gaining energy right away, always going to be more beneficial than something like the Longtusk Cub, although the Longtusk Cub has more potential to gain lots of energy over the course of the game. Then the Brawler has an awesome ability that says when it attacks, you may pay 1 energy. If you do, it gets +1/+1 and trample until the end of turn. That means on turn 3, this is usually going to be a 4/3 with trample attacking in. That's pretty significant in most cases. Next, 4 copies of the Bristling Hydra, a 4/3 for 4. It enters the battlefield and gives you 3 energy. Then it has an ability that says pay 3 energy, put a +1/+1 counter on the Hydra. The Hydra gets hexproof until the end of turn. The +1/+1 counter is significant because it's just going to keep getting bigger over the course of the game, and it has a way of protecting itself. Overall, the Hydra's awesome. It's really hard for the opponent to deal with. It dodges things like Anger of the Gods and Sweltering Sun because it can easily pump itself up to 4 toughness after entering the battlefield, and it can give itself hexproof, dodging all kinds of spot removal. And then the last creature in the deck, the reason you're playing this deck, the Electrostatic Pummeler. 4 copies of this 3 CMC 1/1. 3 CMC 1/1 is not very exciting, but it enters the battlefield, gives you 3 energy, and then it has an awesome ability. Pay 3 energy, and basically it doubles its power. If it's a 1/1, it goes up to a 2/2, then you do it again, 4/4, and so forth. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger every time you put 3 energy into it. Now, starting off as a 1/1 is not very exciting, but we have some other cards in the deck that pump up the Pummeler. The first one being the new card, Longtusk Stalker. If we can somehow get 2 or 4 energy with the Stalker early on, we can easily pump the Electrostatic Pummeler up to a 2/1 or a 3/1. Coming down on the field as a 3/1 is pretty awesome. It's going to be a threat right from the start. Then we have other cards like Snakeskin Veil. Now, Snakeskin Veil most of the time is going to be used for its hexproof ability, so it's going to be more of a protection spell. But it does also give a +1/+1 counter, putting the Pummeler up to a 2/2, or in some cases, I don't know, a 3/2, a 4/3, and so forth, depending how we've pumped up the Pummeler so far. Something like that. But for the most part, it's going to be used defensively, but it can be used offensively, is my point. Then the more offensive cards, 1 copy of Invigorated Rampage. It gives +4/+0 and trample to 1 creature, and Colossus gives +4/+2 and trample until the end of the turn. Both of these are giving at least 4 power, which means that the Pummeler without any other buffs is going to go up to 5 power. If we pump 6 energy into the pummeler, that's 20 power with trample from either the Invigorated Rampage or the Colossus. That's what we're aiming to do most of the time. Now, Colossus has another side to the card. Collision, 6 damage to a target creature with flying. It's not insignificant. I think most of the time we're going to be using Colossus, but once in a while we might have a troublesome flyer, lots of angels and dragons in the format that we would love to kill with Collision. And then we are playing 2 copies of Embercleave. It also pumps +1/+1. More importantly, though, it gives double strike and trample. So we put this on pretty much any of our creatures, and it's going to be an awesome threat. To round out the cards in the deck, 4 copies of Harness Lightning. This is a very flexible card. It can be used as removal, and we can put as much energy into Harness Lightning as we want. It does give us 3 energy when we first play it, but let's say we had 5 energy beforehand. We could put all 8 energy into the Harness Lightning and kill an 8 toughness creature. We can also choose to put 0 energy into the Harness Lightning and just bank the 3 energy that the Harness Lightning is giving us. And then the last card is Attune with Aether, a 1 CMC sorcery that will allow us to go get a basic from our deck. Really good for smoothing out our mana base, and it also gives 2 energy, not insignificant at all. The mana base, pretty typical GRUUL stuff. 1 copy of Lair of the Hydra. I'm thinking of maybe going up to 2 copies of Lair of the Hydra. I'm not sure yet. I want to see how well the deck performs first. Then over in the sideboard, we have a little bit of protection in the form of Blossoming Defense, and then also Heroic Intervention. Both cards give hexproof, and in the case of Heroic Intervention, it also gives Indestructible. A little bit of Graveyard Hate and hate against Collected Company, because Collected Company is everywhere in the format right now. Grafter's Cage is going to stop all that. 4 copies of Cinder Vines to stop spell-flinging decks like Jeskai Control and other ones. Arclight Phoenix decks. Is it Phoenix? Got there. And then 1 copy of Chandra. I like Chandra, so I put it in the deck. There's not much reason other than that. It's really good against control matchups where our creatures can't reliably get in. Bring in Chandra. They could have a little bit of trouble dealing with it, and it's going to keep doing damage over the course of the game. And then 3 copies of Shifting Ceratops, a 5/4 4CMC dinosaur. Can't be countered and it has protection from blue. So mono blue spirits has become kind of a thing. If we run into something like that, mono blue tempo as well, this could be a significant card to bring in. We can use a lot of our awesome pump spells on that and maybe take a victory. So that is the deck. Let me know what you think about this one, and I hope you check out the next video and see how well it performs. Thanks for watching. Take care.